Hello there. Happy Tuesday. Thank you so much for joining. I hope that you guys are having a great week. It is Easter week already. How are we here already? And it's officially spring. I'm so happy. I'm excited for today. We have a great guest on. We have Angela Schmook, who is part of the Road Runners team. They are another rep group that we're good friends with, and so I'm very much looking forward to this conversation. She is the Vice President of Sales and Marketing for their team and has a wealth of knowledge to share with us. So I'm going to go ahead and jump right into this conversation. Hello there. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Hi, how are you?
I'm great. It's nice and sunny here, and so I'm like feeling the energy from the sun. You know, it's very helpful. But you're in sunny Florida, so you get the sun all the time.
Almost all the time. Every once in a while we have a gray day.
That's true. That's true. So anyway, I already let everybody know that you are with Road Runners, which is another rep group, and you're the Vice President of Sales and Marketing with them. But I would love to start with a chance for you to tell us a little bit about your background and how you got to where you are today.
Sure. So I started in the gift industry. I was a sales rep in Central Florida for about 10 years. So it was a really fun opportunity to kind of get all over the state. And so prior to being a sales rep, I was also a manager for a diversified services company. So I was also traveling quite a bit with that company, going to different locations. And so now my role with Road Runners is just really sort of a twist of the two. So it's kind of my experience from being on the road and my experience from being a multi-unit manager. So it's just sort of the two combined into one.
Awesome. And how long have you been with Road Runners now?
I've been saying 10 years for a while. So 10 years.
Somewhere around 10 years.
Yeah, somewhere around.
Tell us a little bit about Road Runners. I mean, other than, I know you guys are a multi-line rep group, but, you guys are a pretty large multi-line rep group, and you just had another great expansion. So go ahead and tell us a little bit about the company.
Sure. It's funny when I hear people say that we're a large rep group because we're really not. We're a great group of sales reps, of independent contractors, and we have a really small, tight management team, and we're kind of this sort of little trio, and work together. A lot of folks have probably met our director of sales, Tasha and Ray Lee, who manage our East Coast and West Coast divisions. We are just like Sales. We're a multi-region or multi-line sales agency. The only difference is that we do cover some other regions. We represent brands very much like Sales: gift, home, textile, paper, fashion, fragrance, all the same type of products. We actually share some brands.
That's right. And I think one of the reasons why, and I think it's such a great thing, you guys all have, you create this big personality and this sense of being a big, strong group, which I mean as a huge compliment to you. And so, that's probably a part of the reason, too, why many people do often say that you're, a large rep group. Your team is very strong and a joy to be around and to partner with and whatnot. But you do, continue to expand and, have recently expanded and, are working on some new projects.
Yes, we are super excited. As you were just talking, there are some, nationwide agencies, and I really see us a lot like our mom and pop retailers. We are a mom and pop rep group. We do have showrooms in Atlanta and Dallas, and we are so excited. And I think it's probably 10 days-ish. It's really close. 12 days. We will be opening the doors to a brand new showroom in Vegas. I know, it's really really exciting. We took over the Joanne and Company rep group, which had been around for many years. Their reps came on board with Roadrunners and the brands too. The only thing that we really did a big change with was our showroom location, and we a bit larger of a showroom. So Tara, our director of visual design, is there now with her team, getting that all together. So
yes,
it's been a lot of work.
Yes, we've all of us that have rep groups and whatnot have been in that position of opening a new showroom and relocating and all of those things. It is a lot of work, just like all of our retailers, opening up new storefronts or moving locations or all of those things. It's very similar to that experience and a lot of work. But congratulations to you. To your team members and Tara that are working on that setup. Keep going, drink lots of coffee. You're almost to the finish line. And we're really excited to check that out, and so excited for you guys. Joanne and Company was a great group, and so you all are very, very fortunate to be able to have taken them on board, and we're excited to watch that. So with, the fact that obviously we're two rep groups talking here, we, both of us have experience being road reps on the road and in the showrooms and all of those. I really want to kind of start the conversation of why reps? Why is working with reps so important? Anymore there are all of these technology incorporated things in our world, and which can be a great resource, but oftentimes retailers and buyers can find themselves in a situation where they're really just talking to an algorithm at the other side of the computer rather than working with a person. So I would love to hear your side of your thoughts of why reps are still a key player.
So from whose perspective? Do you want to know from the retailer perspective or the supplier perspective?
We'll start with the retailer's perspective, okay, and then we'll bounce to the suppliers.
Okay. So the first thing that comes to mind is really having efficiency, ease of doing business, really having a business partner. There's a single point of contact that you can talk with for multi types of products. And many times if you're looking for a new candle line, we have several different types of product lines or different types of personal care or different types of. So there's really someone that you can go to as a single point of contact for resources of products that knows your store. So if you called me up and you said, I'm looking for a soy wax candle line, if I don't have it, I can probably point you in the direction of the line that I see in all my stores, because I'm out there every day, all day long in stores. I see the trends. I see what's hot. I see what's going on. And when I say I'm speaking about my sales reps.
Right.
And so there's really, they're a very valuable resource, and we're not an algorithm. You can't ask an algorithm questions. You can't ask an algorithm, what's best for my store? Should I do paraffin wax or soy wax? You can't ask those questions, but you can ask a rep, and a rep can tell you. For some retailers, value-driven product lines are really important. So a sales rep is going to help you find the product line that has the right margin, or offer you the right promotions, or help you get the display that you need for your product line. An algorithm isn't going to do that for you. And then even after the selection of the product, you've got a problem solver there too. Somebody that can help you with the follow up, or if your display isn't quite right, or if a product line is not moving. Computer sites don't do that, but sales reps do. They can come in and either over the phone or Zoom or in person help you to re-merchandise that space. So they can help you when you hit a hurdle.
Yeah, so I mean, really, you touched on two key points that I just want to reiterate. The sales rep really knows your store. They know your store, and they know the stores around you in your town or your location, which, as much as all these algorithms and computers and whatnot can have databases that are getting as much of that information as they can, they just can't get that personal element of knowing, the location and the type of people that live there and all those things. But also, one thing that I love that you touched on that I think we often forget about is that post-order situation, the help when things go wrong, or when things aren't perfect, and how the reps are your point of contact to help you correct things. It's very true and a big aspect of all of our jobs. So what about for the vendor? What is important about reps for the vendor?
Well, there's a lot of reasons for a vendor. We can go to some of the same items, like the business partner. We're in the stores all day. So if a segment of your brand or new range, or you're going to launch something, you have eyes and ears and feet on the street to say, yes, this will work. No, this won't work. Hey, if you tweaked this might help it sell better. Working with a sales agency like us, you're also not having to manage, 50 reps. You have the ability to just talk with one sales manager, so that it really allows you time to focus more on product development, et cetera,
Yeah.
and let us help to drive your sales. But having people in the field, we also have an established customer base. So typically, when a supplier hires a sales agency, we already have connections and relationships in the field. So you're not starting from the bottom. We are the feet on your street outside of show season or emails and trying to sell through those types of channels. We have those relationships.
Right.
So it really helps you to jumpstart your business working with a sales agency.
Right. And yeah, so you did bounce to my next question, was going to be, the talk of an independent rep versus working with a sales agency, but you hit it, easily, that, yeah, the big difference of being able to work with a team, or, a person or a few people that manage a larger team, helps keep stress and time off of the vendors. Just like the retailers that working with a sales agency or a rep that works in a rep group, you're coming in to having several lines to talk about rather than just one or two. How have you guys seen appointments evolve? I mean, it's been a full year. It's crazy to say that we're a full year through, and every territory is definitely different, and continuing to change. But have you guys seen appointments evolve, and are you starting to see them kind of come back to pre-COVID? Are we in the middle?
That's a really hard one to answer, because it is all over the board, that response. There's such a varied level of confidence in people wanting to meet, not meet, whatever. But here is the one common thread that I have seen, is that both from the side of the sales rep as well as from the retailer standpoint, those that experimented with technology have really uncovered some super efficient ways to do business. And I was talking with one of our reps that is doing a lot of Zoom calls, and she's screen sharing our website, and she's walking the retailers through how to utilize that. And what we're seeing is that those retailers now are enjoying placing their reorders that way. And it's kind of like, I like to do my grocery shopping that way. I like to just, when I run out of something, you pop it in the cart. And then when I've got enough to order, it's there and ready. So there have been some new things that have been discovered like that I see the reps and the retailers both embracing. We have some reps that are 100% back person to person on the road every day driving, and we have some that are still working phone, email, Zoom, whatever. So it's wide and diverse.
Do you think that those Zoom appointments are going to continue to always be a new added element, even for when everything goes back to in person and everything? You think the efficiency of it is going to continue, or?
I do, and here's why. Back in the day when I was on the road, when a retailer would call and say, "Hey, I want to see XYZ product line," I would go, "Okay, I'll be in your area in 2 weeks."
That's right.
Well, 2 weeks. With today's environment, people want things, and they want things now, and they want it in the moment. And we also want to be able to help them connect in the moment. And so what Zoom has allowed us to do is go, okay, let's hop on the computer. I can show you that now. So when you have that relationship and you've built that trust that the rep's going to tell you that, no, it's not as soft as it looks, or no, the smell is much stronger than what you think. Or when you have that built-in trust in your relationship, Zoom works great. But there are things that you still want to touch and smell and see. And so while I think that Zoom is going to stick, I still think that person to person, that need to touch and smell, is always going to be there.
So, yeah, absolutely. Which is a great reason to talk about showrooms. And I know we talked about the fact that you guys are just opening another new showroom, but you guys have showrooms in Atlanta, Dallas, and now soon to be Vegas. So, markets have definitely done their part to evolve and, make things happen as much as they can, and each market has been different in how they've been able to do that over the past year. But are you seeing changes in market as well because of COVID?
We are. There's one of the things that we have seen is that people have shortened the amount of time that they're coming to market. And that is where, going back to leveraging your technology a little bit and leveraging working with your sales rep at the same time, can really help you maximize the time that you're spending at market, because reps can send you information to preview as well. If you're having those conversations in advance with your rep of, I'm looking for new this or that, your rep, if you book an appointment with them, they can go right to here's what I want to show you. Here's what we talked about. So that is one of the trends that we have seen. But working with your rep, you can certainly expedite that experience.
Yeah, it seems more important than ever to really create a show plan.
Definitely.
Which has always been important. I mean, these shows are a lot to take on. And, for anybody that is, because I know we have a lot of retailers that have opened and not yet been to a show, and, they're starting to think about going to a show, and it can be a very overwhelming thought, let alone experience when you get there. So I think all of us in our positions really recommend creating a show plan.
Yes. And even looking, diving in another layer into a show plan, even looking at where your existing sales are, looking at what categories are doing really well for you that you want to expand, looking at what categories that you may not have as much product in that you want to completely add. You know, baby is a category that we are seeing people really dive into and adding more of. So sharing your show plan with your sales reps in advance. And look, everybody wants what's hot and new. So when your rep says, what are you looking for? That's everybody's response. What is hot and new? But if you can help hone it in just a little bit to sort of what you're there at market and you're looking for, you know, I need products with great margins, or I'm looking for more home textiles, or whatever it may be, your sales rep can really help you get to what you're looking for.
Yeah, that's a great point. So we didn't get it. I totally skipped it, and I need to go back and talk about it. You are now the GHGA chairman, and last year, all of 2020, you were the president of GHGA. I feel like you need a do-over because of the year that you got, but that's, you know, so can you talk a little bit about GHGA and what exactly that is? Because I think that, you know, more people need to know about it.
I couldn't agree with you more on a lot of those points, especially the do-over.
Yes.
It was going to be easy.
No, I kept looking at being like, oh, man.
It was an very interesting year. So GHTA is the Gift Home Trade Association, and it is probably one of my absolute favorite parts of the industry. It's actually how we met, 100%. And so GHTA is a combination of large and small suppliers, affiliate industry resources, market centers, sales agencies like us. And what GHTA does is, on a national forum, we sort of interconnect all of the industry leaders for brainstorming ideas and innovation and really bubbling up best practices to advance our overall business. There are some associations within our industry that are platform driven, and ours is very, very succinct. It is all about education, sharing, networking. One of the things that the pandemic really did pull out of GHTA was that education aspect. And so we now, every 4 to 6 week-ish, we actually host a webinar on a pertinent topic, something that is in the moment. And there have been some spectacular educational topics. And then it sort of all bubbles up to, in November, we do a national conference. In the past, those have been in person. Last year, obviously, was online, and we're going to do that again this year. It was so well received, and lots of folks that typically would not be able to travel, or companies that couldn't bring their whole team, they didn't have the ability to do so, but the online resource really allowed lots more participation. In my opinion, and yes, I'm biased, but in my opinion, never has GHTA been more important. It has really opened up industry sharing, and I really want to encourage anybody that hears this today to go and check out giftandhome.org. It is a great organization.
Yeah, I mean, I know before we went live, we were talking about the fact that we both believe that there's such an importance of, you know, working together and sharing ideas and, you know, all of those things across the industry. And I think we've always had those mindsets. But one of the things that I've loved that's kind of happened throughout this past year is that mindset has grown. significantly. There's been more sharing and more openness and connection. And this is a great resource to help that continue and to really stay connected and involved, in the industry. So it's a great association. The in-person and networking aspect of the conferences were always so much fun, but I also do definitely understand how the virtual conference can be very convenient for a lot of people as well. So I think it's great that to hear that GHGA is doing another virtual conference for 2021, and then I'm sure that we'll continue to see how it evolves moving into 2022, and as we continue to see things, hopefully normalize more and more as time goes on. So, my really last question before we get into our final 3 questions is: do you have any words of advice for a new rep that, especially in these crazy times, any words of advice for any new reps out there?
Don't give up. I think that is when I'm interviewing a new prospective sales rep, and especially someone that's wanting to break into this industry, our compensation model is a little bit different as an independent contractor than a lot of typical careers. Personally, it's not anything I would ever want to change. This is the only business that I'm aware of that you can really own your own business with little to no startup. But you have to go into it with what I call a 1, 3, 5 year plan. Mm-hmm. And I just see so many people give up before they really get to reap the rewards. And I kind of break it down super simple. Year 1, you're going to have to hit it hard every single day in the field, whatever in the field looks like. 2020 morphed that a little bit. Year 3, you've got your routine, you can breathe, you've got a system going, your income's leveled out. By year 3, you really think like you've got it down. But year 5 is when you are rewarded. And if you can stick it out to get to year 5, it is the most rewarding career ever. You own your own business. You work with folks that you really enjoy working with. Your income begins to grow just because of the relationships you've built, not because you become some super salesman. Yeah. It just, if you've worked your plan, it really does become, I'm never going to use the word easy because nothing in our business is easy. But you've got a routine that works for you. And so many people just think it's an overnight type of business. But my one piece of advice is don't give up. You put a lot into it, see it all the way through.
Yep, you put it perfectly. Thank you so much for making it so simple and clear. And you're right. It's not an easy job if you're 5 years in, 10 years in, 25 years in, but it's anything that's extremely rewarding is not easy, So it is very rewarding in multiple ways. All right, Angela, I'm going to hit you with our final 3 questions. Are you ready? I say this every show, guys. I'm like, I need a drum roll. I've really got to get on this. I have an air horn. And applause.
Don't I make scream.
All right, final 3 questions. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
What is your favorite book, podcast, or blog?
So I had to put some thought into that, and I was an English major in college, so I read a lot. So book was way too hard to narrow down. So my favorite industry podcast is the Retail Details podcast.
That's a good one.
My favorite podcast.
That's a very good one. And I think that their website is pretty simple, that you can just do retaildetail.com and it comes up.
Yes.
And all right, what is the most important thing in your toolbox?
I'm going to embarrass myself, and my coworkers are just going to be shaking their head right now at this. It is my 49-cent spiral bound notebook.
In yellow, of all colors, bright yellow.
Well, they're multicolors.
Oh, okay.
I buy them at the beginning of the year. I buy like several dozen of them. My entire life is in these notebooks. I jot down random thoughts, things to do. It all goes in the notebook, and everybody keeps wanting me to do this and tech that, and I got my tech things. But that notebook is by my side all day long, and everyone kind of makes a joke about it. I've had people in my household steal my notebook before, thinking it's funny. So yeah, it's that little notebook.
So I have to ask a question about this notebook. When you complete your notebook, does it get thrown away or does it get stored? Yes, I had to go to that next step.
Okay, true confessions. I moved in the middle of the pandemic. And for those of you that have seen the Hoarders episodes, I did a really hard thing, and it took some Marie Kondoing, and I had to bless each one and thank it for the joy that it brought me. But I did let go of the last 10 years worth of notebooks.
You saved 10 years worth of notebooks. Oh my goodness. And then you let them all go at once.
I let them all go.
That's huge. That's a lot of notebooks.
That is a lot of notebooks.
I love it. That's probably my favorite question that I get to ask people, by the way. Okay.
No one will ever say notebook.
So we are now already about to jump into April in just a couple days. That'll give you guys a heads up. If anybody hasn't thought of it yet, April Fool's Day is just a couple days away. Are you thinking about your joke you're going to play on anybody? But anyway, so we're already about a quarter of the way through. How do you think that retail is going to continue to evolve throughout the rest of the year?
I think that we are in a really good place. I think that small business is really going to continue to thrive. I think that we may be in the midst of a independent retail renaissance. Yes. I'm really encouraged by the creativity of independent retailers across all industries, not just gift and home. And I hope that everyone will continue to think about independent retail, not just gift and home, but pharmacies and groceries and your local florist. And I think we're going to continue to see Main Street USA and your local down the block. And I think we're going to see more and more niche retailers pop up. I think it's going to be really good for independent retail. And I do think we're going to see a lot of change also forthcoming with big box. And I wish I had a crystal ball to predict it all, but I think we're going to see some evolve. I think we're going to see some dissolve. Yeah. And I think we're going to see some innovation.
Yeah, I agree. I think that the next couple years is going to be really exciting. And, you know, it's been really inspiring to watch some people jump into the fire and like you said, have an immense amount of creativity and drive, because there's no denying that it takes a lot of drive to push through and start something new in times like these. But I think there's going to be some big rewards come out of it. So with that, thank you so much, Angela, for joining me today. I really appreciate your time and discussion, and look forward to seeing you in person at one of these shows coming up
soon. And Camille, thank you so much for having me on and letting me talk about Roadrunners and GHGA and my notebooks.
Your notebooks. Yes. I might from now on tease you a little bit about the notebooks. Not too bad, though.
Yeah.
I'll leave that up to the rest of your team. Thank you so much, and enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you, Camille.
All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed that conversation. I definitely did. Come on next week and, keep on following the show as we keep on moving forward into spring and, and before we know it, full-on summer will be here right around the corner. So if you guys have any topics that you would like us to hit on, please let us know. We're always open to new topics and new ideas or new guests on the show. And with that, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Thanks for watching.